I want to welcome you all back to another Emerging Topics in Information Science podcast with your host, Nick Watson. Today's topic of discussion will be memes at work and play. And I'm going to discuss the video by Richard Dawkins that was part of our weekly assignment. And Richard Dawkins is somebody I'm actually familiar with. I've read a couple of his books, the most recent, The God Delusion. And I noticed actually in the text he references memes quite a bit. I found that pretty interesting, considering the book you would not think would be about that, but it's really just the phraseology of the word and kind of how it compares to genes, which is really interesting, and he talks about it in the short video clip that we watch. But a couple of points I wanted to discuss that really stood out to me was how he compared memes to genes in a sense of genes are viruses of the mind, according to him, really in comparison to religion. He's a huge advocate for atheism, and he really debunks religion in his text, The God Delusion. But he talks about memes in a sense of how they are spread culturally and how they can impact society as a whole. And what's really interesting when you think about this is essentially every forum, every discussion board you go to, there's usually memes that are a part of the community. And what's interesting about memes is they bring together people. But at the same time, it's kind of a catch-22. They also cause issues amongst people who may be offended by the content of the memes, and so on. But what's interesting about the video that we saw is, he calls it a hijacking of the original idea. And, what he references in particular to internet memes is that they're altered deliberately compared to, genetic mutations. So he approaches it from a really scientific viewpoint, but it's really interesting in the sense of how he talks about how the memes spread through the human culture and genes spread through the gene pool. And, that is really crazy because just as I think about things I've been a part of, whether it's been video game communities or religious communities, there's always memes that end up becoming famous that are shared amongst a common group of people. And, how you view these, I don't think these are necessarily changing culture by any means, but I do think that they do hold some gravity to them in a sense of they can bring a large group of people together, and it's something that does affect work and play, and, it's something that definitely is a part of our culture, considering we're in such a technological culture that has easy access to these, and really just an easy way for people to find something in common and bring people together. I want to thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Until next time.